Tonight, we have waiver wire updates from the APFL. We have scoring updates for the APBL, and we are revisiting this year's WRL 101. All of this and more in 20 seconds. Hey, fellow fanatics, welcome to the Fanatically Real broadcast, sponsored by Sport Management Solutions, your one-stop shop for all your athletic communication needs. Doesn't look like anybody's out there with us tonight. Figured it was going to be a slow night anyways. So let's get through this pretty quick. We'll see if we can do it in less than 20 minutes. So we did waiver wires for the APFL. They opened up last week. We've had 2 runs of them. Today was the second run of them. Kind of mostly just wanted to bring attention to that in case anybody in the APFL was watching this tonight, either now live or later, recorded, and they did not know that we were doing the waiver wire moves, even though if you've got the alerts turned on, you should have heard them come through your emails or whatever, seen us chatting about them on Discord. So we did have the second runs of them. Wanted to give a couple of warnings, I guess is probably the best way to say it, though. Remember, the roster sizes are only 24. They were already expanded from 18 to 24 to get ready for this waiver wire moves. And they will not be expanded anymore for when we do the rookie draft. So you're going to have to make sure that you have your rosters trimmed or dropping players before you draft. When we do get to the draft, we will be starting our draft the Monday after the NFL draft. So for us, that will be 6 a.m. East Coast time on the 28th of April, which is roughly about a month away from right now. So just wanted to let everybody know that. If you're out there, hit us up with a hello, and I'll throw you up on the screen. But yeah, that was the big thing that I wanted to talk about from the APFL, was to let everybody know that waiver wires were running. This was the second run today. Quite a few people are filling their rosters up with a lot of players, but make sure you get them cut in time for the draft or dropping as you draft. Hanley's out there with us. What's going on, brother? All right, so Hanley being part of both the APFL and the APBL, let's do a nice little transition to that. So we wanted to give a scoring update of where we're at for the APBL. Why is that such a big deal right now? Well, we've already had 2 games in Japan. That was the Japanese series that opened between the Cubs and the Dodgers. So they played 2 games on the 18th and 19th, I think the dates were. And then tomorrow, I think the first pitch is at 3:05, 3:50, something like that here in the States. We are back to start Week 1 on the state side, but definitely, like I said, we've already, my sister's there. Seeing my sister on distracted me for a second. So, hey, Betsy, what's up? Yeah, we've had 2 games already, so we're back stateside now. We will have, this is one of those oddball weeks. It's a non-traditional week for us here in fantasy baseball, as this week will run from the 18th of March. Yep, that was the first day of the Japanese series, all the way till the 6th of April. I think that takes us right up until the day before the Masters actually starts here in Augusta. So 18 March to 6 April. Here's where we're at right now. You can see the scores right underneath the team's blocks there. 28-0 Cincinnati over the Cardinals at the moment. Atlanta up over the Angels 21 to -1. Baltimore up over the Sox 8 to -1. Cubs down to the Texas Rangers -3 to 0. Guardians up on the Sox 12 to 0. Yankees up on the Blue Jays 6 to 0, and then no score yet for San Francisco and Detroit. So 2 people here from the baseball league, Hanley being the Detroit franchise. No score there yet between him and the Giants, last year's champion, which is Damian Gratz. And then Betsy, my sister, opening up the season against the Baltimore Orioles. She's down right now 9 points, with it being 8 to -1. So make sure you get your lineups in before we start tomorrow. Betsy, I appreciate you getting a hold of me tonight and working through some of your things to help my team out. But I wish I had thought about it sooner, because I think that the lack of me doing anything prior to today could cost me this first weekend, could possibly haunt me for the rest of the season. But nonetheless, I appreciate you bringing that all to my attention today. All right, so that takes care of the updates for the APBL. Chicago down 9 points. Yeah, because it's 8 to -1. So it makes it 9 points. Want to go over some WRL stuff. So Hanley is playing in that this year as well. Unfortunately, I didn't get my sister to play in it this year, but maybe next year we'll get Betsy in there. So I've already done this slideshow once. What I wanted to do was go through it again in smaller chunk, the more important stuff for the WRL and what it's going to look like for 2025, and then kind of give you some updates of where we're going over the next couple of days with the WRL. So let me get the slideshow back up. Some of you have seen this already. The schedule of league operations. So January 4th, the invites began. Those are already done. We've got our 48 teams. The season began on 12 March. So that was 10 days ago, 14 days ago, 2 weeks ago. We opened the season for everything. 26 of April, which is the region selection show. That's what I really want to talk about tonight. I want to show everybody what that's going to look like again. That way, if anybody has any questions, if they're watching this tonight or another day later, they can ask. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to take still shots of these slides that I'm showing right now, and I'm going to put them in the Discord channel in the WRL. Everybody has been moved over in the WRL to the appropriate channel. So what we ended up doing was, and I'll pull this off the screen for just a second. What we ended up doing was removing everybody that was in the 2024 league, kind of just putting them generically back into the Discord server, removed all of the regional channels that were there for the individual regions. And then I placed the 48 teams back into Discord in the WRL 2025, or they were already on Discord, but into the appropriate channel, WRL 2025 channel. The two people that are still missing are Misty, Mrs. FSA, and then Jamie Serta. His son is playing with us this year as a rookie. Those two are still missing from Discord, but we will get them in there very shortly, I promise. So we're 46 out of 48 are in the channels. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring this. So let me pull this back up so we can go back over this a little bit more. So the regional selection show, we're going to skip through these next couple of dates that are on here so we can get to that region selection because that's the most important part. The draft order selection shows will come after sometime in August once we get everything else settled. And then the regional draft sometime in August to get us ready for the season that's going to start in September 2nd. That is when the NFL and the WRL season will begin. Okay, so here's the important part this year. Last year, I'll pull my face back up in here for just a second. Last year, what we ended up doing was we have regional managers that drafted the general managers into their region. We're going to do something a little bit different this year. This idea was brought to me because Damian Scott, the mad scientist, put a image up in the Discord chat months ago. And it was a couple different groups of celebrities. I think they were all probably athletes. And said, if you could sit anywhere on this plane, where would you sit? And there was a couple empty spots that were on the plane. That's great, sis. Thanks. The dog just threw up. There was a couple empty spots on the plane. You got to pick where you wanted to sit. And it got me thinking, what if instead of the regional managers picking the general managers that they wanted in their region, that the general managers themselves have an opportunity to pick who they wanted to play against or what region they wanted to play? So this is what this is going to look like. And maybe next week or the next show that we do, I will actually have a live version to show you of how this is going to happen. So what's going to happen is on the 26th of April, that is a Saturday. That is the Saturday that the NFL draft is going on. As many people who want to have an opportunity to pick where they're going to play need to show up online. Various places you can show up. You can be on Discord. You can show up in the YouTube channel like you are right now. You can shoot me a text on my phone, hit me with a message on Facebook. Whatever is the best way for you to be able to communicate to me where you want to go inside these 48, we'll call them seats that you see here on the screen. Here's how it's going to break down. For each color that is there, that is going to represent a region. So as you see, 1 through 12 is red. That will be a region, 12 teams in that region. 13 through 24, green, that is going to be a region. 25 through 36 is going to be a region, and 37 through 48 are going to be a region. Yeah, I'm hoping so, Hanley, because I think it's going to be a really fun show. I know we can only fit so many people in here with me, but if we can like get people in, and then as they find their seat, we kind of boot them out and bring some people who haven't made it yet to come in, be like a revolving door here into the digital studio. It'd be a lot of fun, I think. So basically what's going to happen is, if you decide that you want to be able to have the opportunity to select where you want to sit in this chart of 1 through 48, you will show up on the show that day. What we're going to do is 48 is a lot of teams to pull out of a hat, which is usually traditionally the way that we would do this. What we're going to do is we're going to have a wheel instead, and it's going to have all 48 general managers' names on it. It's going to be kind of like the wheel that I used whenever I did the APBL draft order show this year, because we couldn't use dice because there's not a traditional way to do that with dice, because there's no 14-sided dice, and of course there's no 48-sided dice. So what we'll do is we'll use a wheel instead that will have all 48 people's names on it. What we'll do is we'll spin the wheel when somebody's name comes up. In this case, let's use Hanley as an example because he's here. Hanley's name comes up. He gets to pick whatever seat he wants to go into that is open. So let's say there are a few people that are already in seats, and he decides, I want to play against a person, but I don't want to be in the same division as them. I just want to be in the same region as them. So I want to be in the same color as them, but not in the same column as them. And here's why that makes a difference. Each one of these columns is also a division. So column 1 through 4 is a division. Column 5 through 8 is a division. Column 9 through 12 is a division. Why is that important? Because the way the schedule is going to go this year is you will play everybody inside your division twice, and everybody outside your division, but also inside your region still one time, for a total of 14 games. Now, one of the things we're going to get asked is, how are we going to accomplish 14 games in 13 weeks because of the way we normally do our playoff system? Way we're going to do that is on the same day, 26 April, after all 48 teams are seated, we are going to roll another wheel that has the numbers 1 through 13 on it. And we're not going to just spin it one time. What we're going to do is we're going to spin it until we get a repeated number. So let's say we roll it 6 times, and all of a sudden, the 7th time we spin it, it's a duplicate number somewhere in there. That will be the week that will be counted as a double header week. And what that's going to look like is we're going to use the traditional 14-game schedule that I've used since 1995, 1993, I guess, 95 being the first successful season. And whatever week shows up as the doubleheader week, that week and the following week that would happen after it. So let's say it just happens to be week 11. Week 11 and week 12 will be combined into week 11, and that will be our doubleheader week. So we won't know if it's going to be an in-division or an out-of-division game whenever that happens. It'll be completely random, so we won't know. Do you want to play Damien 14 times, Kevin? We might be able to arrange that. I think the new league that you're proposing has the opportunity for you to be able to play him quite a few times every single year. So that is the big chunk that I wanted to get out there. I wanted to let everybody know that it's going to be on April 26th that we do that. Now, somebody's going to ask, well, what happens if somebody doesn't care who they play against, or doesn't show up that day, or can't get communication with me? What we'll do is, if their name comes up on the dial and they're not there to pick where they want to sit, then we will have another wheel that we will roll 1 through 48 on. And as a player's name comes up and they get seated, and as that seat gets taken, that number will come off the wheel. And then whenever that name comes up, if that person happens to not be there, we spin the wheel, then they go on that spot, and that's where they end up playing. So if you want the opportunity to try to make sure that you play against somebody, you want to be there on the 26th. And that doesn't mean that it's guaranteed, because what happens if you're one of those very last names that are picked and there's a lot of spots that are already filled and all of the people that you would want to play against are already filled up, then you're going to just have to pick whatever spot is left over. But it gives you the best chance of playing against the people that you would want to play against. Like Hanley says he wants to play against me. I'm cool with that. A couple more things that I want to go over on these charts. Let me get them all pulled up before I pull the screen back over for you all. Nothing real major. We've already kind of gone over a lot of the stuff. 48 teams, going to be 4 regions of 12 teams in each. Regions will be broken into 3 divisions of 4 teams. All the general managers will be on Discord. Like I said, we're only missing 2 right now. Rosters will be the same thing as it was last year, 16 roster spots with 10 starters. Scoring is going to be the exact same that it was in 2024, except for we might be bringing the sacks against the quarterback back as a stat. It will just be at a very lower amount than what we're used to having it at. Like we already said, we will do 14 regular season games played in 13 weeks, with one random week being a doubleheader, and it'll be in the 2-1-1 format. Like I said, 2 times everybody inside your division and then everybody outside your division 1 time. So that 2 is everybody inside your division and then everybody else outside. Let's say you're in Division A. You'll play everybody inside Division A twice. You'll play everybody inside Division B once. Everybody's in Division C once. Trades will be subjected to a league-wide poll vote. The trade will be remained open for 24 hours. The trade will be denied after. We don't know how many rejection votes yet. We'll talk about that once the season gets started. And then the playoffs will consist of 3-tiered playoff brackets, with each tier having 12 teams competing, and they will be contested in weeks 14 through 17. And here's what that tier is going to look like. And I'll see if I can pull this up as quick as I can for you. All the first place teams will be playing in tier 1, all the second place teams in tier 2, and all the third place teams in tier 3. To try to give you an illustration of what that looks like, it is going to be everybody who is in first place will play in tier 1. Everybody who's in second place, tier 2. Everybody that's in third place will be in tier 3. If you're a fourth place team, you will not play in a bowl. Why the trade poll? To kind of alleviate the issue that we had last year with what was perceived as a imbalanced trade that I allowed to go through, that fortunately for me ended up working out and not negatively in the way that all of the fantasy football experts thought it was going to. So I guess I got kind of lucky in that respect, and I figured that I want to make sure that we no longer have that issue anymore and not leave it completely on me to make that decision. So we are going to put it out there for the masses to make a possible veto on it if we need to. So the one thing to look at from this, and you'll see it a little bit better on the next screen, is each one of the number 1 teams from each one of those tiers. So it's kind of a little bit difficult to see on the screen. So as you can see, this number 1 is a little bit more bold. This number 1 is a little bit more bold. Same thing here and same thing here. Those are the number 1 teams in their region among the 3 first seeded teams. If I can make that make the most sense to everybody. So let me pull up the chart, and maybe the bracket to make a little bit more sense. So all of those number 1 overall teams are going to get first round buys. So the other 2 teams that are also in the same seed as you are going to play each other in round 1. The loser of that game, you can see the breakdown of each one of these things and how it's going to look. So teams in tier 1 that end up being the 9th through the 12th place teams end up getting $60. It's basically getting your winnings back for making the playoffs. Being a number 1 seeded team, you get your money back. If you make it to the quarters but lose, you're going to get $90 back. If you make it to the semis and lose, you get $180 back. If you're the runner up, you're going to get $560 back. And if you're the overall winner, you're going to get $1,000. Now that is for tier 1. Money is being paid out for tier 2 and tier 3, but it's not going to be as much. So we're only paying out the champion and the runner up The champion for the tier 2 will get their money back. That'll be $60. Same thing as if you were a first round exit in the tier 1 championship game. The runner-up will get 30. That's half of their entry back. And then if you're the tier 3 champion, you will get half your money back, $30. And if you're the runner-up, you get 15. So you at least get something out of it. So I wanted to make sure I went over with everybody again. I'm going to again take the still shots, and I'm going to put that over on Discord. I'm also going to put the link to the original 2025 WRL 101 video that we did that explained that a little bit more for everybody to watch. I got to find a way for everybody to like sign off on and say they've seen it. Because what I don't want is I don't want anybody coming and saying I didn't know, because it's out there. I'm going to roll over the 2025 WRL MFL page sometime this week. I'm also going to set up the League Safe page sometime this week. I'm actually hoping to get League Safe done tomorrow, and then the website rolled over no later than, if I have to, no later than sometime Sunday night. That way we can have that all set and ready to go. And then, like I said, by the time we get ready to do a next broadcast, I will see if I can get those live wheels going for everybody. In fact, it'd be nice if I could just go ahead and have it ready and it can be saved if it's possible out there. That way, whenever it's time to actually do it on 26 April, I can just pull it up and it'll be ready to go. So $60 for your buy-in for the WRL League Safe. And then I will get it set up on MFL and screenshots of these out on the WRL channel in Discord, and then a link also to the video. And then, like I said, I got to find a way for Kevin, if you're smart about this stuff on Discord, if there is such a thing, where people can check the block and say that they watched it, seen it, whatever. See if we can figure something out like that. I've mentioned the next broadcast a couple of times. We might be back next Wednesday for the Fanatically Real broadcast. If not, that will be back the following week on the 9th. But what we will have back for the next show, if we're not here for the Fanatically Real broadcast on 2 April, is we will be here on Friday night for the 7th inning stretch, first ever episode of that, which will be showcasing the APBL. Time to still be determined. I'm thinking 7:30 at night, not real sure yet. We'll let you all know, but that will be our first ever 7th inning stretch. Again, a non-traditional first week of the baseball season, which is why we haven't had to have that show yet. But Friday night is when it's supposed to happen, and we will get it to happen on that Friday night so we could roll into finishing up week 1 on Sunday and get into week 2 of APBL baseball on Monday. I think that works out to be, let's see, 5, 6, the 7th, I guess, will be the opening day of week 2. So that's it for the night. Hanley, you said you have a proposal for a rule. Talk to me about it later on Discord. Thank you. I appreciate it. Probably going to leave directly out of here tonight and hang with the family. 7:30 is not good, I know, on Friday night. And it's funny that you say that, Gerard, because as soon as I said that, I hadn't even checked to see if I'm not working Friday night in Aiken to find out if that's even a thing. And I didn't think about that too much on the 26th on Saturday. I need to find out if you guys have a tournament on that day. And if yes, blocked show and new league. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I got to look in to see if I'm even working on that Friday, and then we got to find out on 26 if you guys got a tournament or not. That's it. I want to thank you for watching the Fanatically Real broadcast sponsored by Sport Management Solutions. I also want to thank Recast, who are the official music of the FSA. If you liked tonight's show, please share, like, subscribe, follow us on all of our social media. Oh, banned, not blocked. Okay. I was trying to get out of here. I even have a new traditional closing that I'm going to Yes, Bets. Call me. I'll call you as soon as we get off the air. And then Kevin said ban. That's where that came from. I have a new closing. It's down at the bottom of my script. I want to try to find a more, scripted way for it to look like I'm going off the air, because I feel like we always just kind of flip a switch and we're gone. But Kevin's right. We kind of need to mention band. So it is another broadcast that we are going to do. It is supposed to come out quarterly. If you actually go out to iplayfsa.com right now and go all the way down to the bottom, it kind of explains it a little bit, but the new website that we have been working on explains it even better. You're fine, Kevin. You're good. I'm glad you brought it up. So I did do some digging. I come to find out after I had said that when we were going to do our first episode of Band Ever, when I brought it up to Mrs. FSA, she goes, "Are you sure we're not going to be on vacation then?" And we've kind of got our vacation plans made now. It will not interrupt with that. Since we're only going to do band about once a quarter, so we're going to probably do it 3 or 4 times a year. We don't have to worry about it being a so often thing. But the first episode is going to be on. Now, here's the part that I got to remember. Does anybody remember what date I said? I can always go to the website and look real quick. That way I don't lie to anybody about when it's going to be. Give me just a second, and I can let you know when that is going to be. First episode is going to air on 28 May. 28 May. Mark your calendars for it. I've got 2 people said they want to participate so far. I think, Kevin, you were one of them. Hanley, I think you were the other one. If you've ever watched Around the Horn on ESPN, it is going to be a very similar show to that. For those of you that don't know, Around the Horn is actually going off the air from ESPN after running 20 some years. I think they said it had been running. And it just so happens that when we do it on the 28th, that is the very next Wednesday. Make sure I'm telling you right. The 28th of May. It is the very next Wednesday after the final airing of Around the Horn. So we're going to pick up right where they're stopping their show, and we're going to do our first one. Let's see how the first one goes, Kev. And maybe we can turn it into a monthly thing. We'll just have to find a night to do it, because Wednesday night traditionally is for the shows. And I don't want to make the shows too long. In fact, this one's already about 7.5 minutes longer than I thought it was going to be tonight. And I want to make sure I talk to Betsy before we get out of here for the night. So thank you for the band. Kevin also is trying to introduce a new league. For those of you that are out there watching this right now, if you are interested, and I think everybody that's out there right now is probably already part of the group, Kevin has a channel. Hit him up. Let him know that you're interested in this new league. He'll pull you over into that channel and give you all the details for it. But yeah, so let me try this again. Thank you all for watching the Fanatically Real broadcast sponsored by Sport Management Solutions. And thank you to the Recast, the official music of FSA. If you liked the show tonight, please go out, like, share, subscribe, follow us on all of our social media outlets. And remember, we are Fanatically Real. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you on Discord here shortly.